Hey, Lowco grinders! Welcome to another edition of the Lowco Grind, presented by Reverence Wrestling Club. Goodness sakes, been talking so much these last few days. I'm getting my words they're getting all jumbled up in my mouth. But Justin Jarrett from Lowco Sports and George Dixon, my co-host. Everybody knows George in the Lowco wrestling community, and well beyond that, South Carolina, Georgia, all over the place. You were out in Georgia calling matches this weekend. I'm sure you've got gigs lined up this week as well, because it's a big week of wrestling in South Carolina. Unfortunately, we only have one team that's still going in the dual playoffs. So we'll get into that a little bit later on, talking about May River rolling into a home match tomorrow night against Lugolf Elgin. JP2 had a terrific finish in the SCISA playoffs, runner-up in the state in South Carolina Independent Schools Association. We're going to have Greg Lawns on, the coach, later on to talk about that. But we've also got a great honor for me, and I know for you too, George, because it's a kid that we've coached at some point along the way, or been involved with, who has now way exceeded us, and is a national caliber competitor, and on track to potentially wrestle in the Olympics, with Makayla Hinchey joining us a little bit later on. So that's going to be very cool. But how you been, man? What'd you get into this weekend? You were over in Georgia, right?
Oh, yes, I was. I was over at Screven County High School, doing it up with those guys. It was a good event, good tournament. They always do a good job up there. I'm lucky I've got family up in that direction, so that kind of led me that way. I knew May River would be good in good hands with Guy Vander Weist refereeing them yesterday, and they got on through and did their work. And like you said earlier, we'll be seeing them tomorrow night. The only Lowco team still hard at it on the mats as a dual team situation. But and I actually
but the others had good showings. The others had good showings. But
oh, absolutely, everybody. I think I don't want to dime out Buford
I think
here,
everybody but Whale Branch. Whale Branch, I don't think won one, and
Buford didn't win one either. Yeah,
right. But
they lost their first round one, but. Yeah,
and Battery Creek nearly pulled it off.
Did a job. Hilton Head actually they won. I think beat Hartsville in that first round. Yeah, and then they ran into that buzzsaw of Lugolf Elgin that comes into May River tomorrow night.
Yeah, that one's going to be really good. We'll get into that a little later. Coach Powell's supposed to pop by, as long as he doesn't fall asleep before then. But we should see him a little bit later in the show. But let's move on, and we'll get our guests in here momentarily. This interview is sponsored by our MVP sponsors, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and my wife. She would love to help you find your place in the Lowco and put down an anchor in the best place, because she's with the Anchor Home Group of the new Anchor Home Group of Keller Williams of the Lowcountry. So call on Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and it'll support Lowco, I promise. Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. Jan Lucas and his guys are the best in the business in this area when it comes to making sure that you are buying a home that is ready to go, and making a great investment in this real estate market. Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate closing attorneys of Lowco Sports, and our original sponsors since 2017. Still with us today, Ryan and Tiffany and the Mickelson team, doing the most for you with all your legal needs. And Hospice Care, the Lowcountry official hospice care of Lowco Sports, the only not-for-profit hospice care in southern Beaufort County. And they offer so many services to try to get the best out of life, because at Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, it's not about dying, it's about living. Those are our MVP sponsors, along with the Reverence Wrestling Club, the presenting sponsor of this show. But let's shift gears now and talk with our honored guest, because it's getting past her bedtime. It is a school night. I know she does the homeschooling thing. But Makayla Hinchey, how you doing, sweetie? And I shouldn't call you sweetie, because you might whip me, because I know you can take me on the mat these days. But I got to coach you when you were much younger and just starting out. You had already done a lot of jiu-jitsu and MMA training, but wrestling was new for you. But you've really latched onto it, and we talked about you a lot on the show the last couple of weeks, because you've been going to big-time national tournaments and having great results. Wrestled against 20-year-olds a couple of weeks ago, and that prepared you for last weekend, where you went and won a 14U folkstyle national championship in Indianapolis. So I guess, first of all, just has it sunk in that you're a national champ, and how great does that feel?
Well, it's kind of sunk in. I mean, I'm still kind of shocked about it. I mean, that was my first belt I've ever won. It's just like, whoa, national champ? Like, that's just kind of crazy. And it feels pretty good. I mean, my coaches are really proud of me, and I'm really proud of myself too for that. So, yeah.
Well, I'm sure your folks are proud of you. I mean, you've done a good job. Justin, got to deal with you a little bit way back when. I got to deal with you at McCracken, and it's it's a pleasure for us to see your growth and to see you come up and through and to make that progress. But you also now know that that progress takes hard work, right?
Yes, it definitely does.
No doubt about that. And you put it in, and you mentioned your coaches. Tell us a little bit more about wrestling with Daughters of Zion. And obviously, Zayo Estrada is a well known name around here, not only around here, but around the country in girls wrestling. So, she's been a part of mentoring you and helping you come along. So tell us more about, your experience and your coaches and just how you got to where you are.
Well, how do I explain it? So I started a year and a half ago, around 2 years, and I kind of was just going there a little bit just to kind of figure out. And then I started going there full time. It's been really good. He started his own school, which is now Gideon's Christian Academy, and I'm in that. We've been practicing twice a day, which is really good. Getting our runs in. We've been going to bigger tournaments. Training's really hard, and that's good too. All of the kids there, they're really good wrestlers, and Zayo, she's whipped my butt quite a few times. So there's that.
Well, we all know that's how you get better.
And then Coach
You got to find
Estrada
somebody who can whip your butt.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
And then Coach Estrada and Coach Pat, they're really good coaches. They push me a lot and they push everyone, and they have really good technique and stuff. And then we also have not really a new coach, but he comes and goes kind of because he lives down in Florida. It's Coach Mark. He's really good too. He helps also with our cutting weight because he's just forgot the name. A nutritionist, and he's been helping us with losing weight and stuff, which is also pretty good. So yeah.
Coach, get in there.
Hey, well, Makayla, Estrada, Boulware, those guys have been around and, have gotten a push on girls wrestling in South Carolina. You're at a great place because you're on the crest of that wave as it's rolling through. So, of course, Zayo's been there, but yeah, you're that if you will, new blood coming in behind that. So yeah, you're definitely doing your job to take the wrestling world by storm at this point. And again, you put in the work, you do the work behind the scenes, and that then takes care of itself when you get on the mat.
Mm.
Well, George mentioned last year at McCracken, you were the first girl wrestler at McCracken to win a state championship. We had a couple girls from Beaufort County take home state titles this year as well, so that was exciting to see. And we believe you were the first female in Beaufort County to win a state title by just like a week, because Jada Lawrence won one in the high school ranks the next week, I think. But it hasn't stopped there. You've competed internationally, competed in Sweden, where you placed second in October, and you're ranked second for the 14U future Olympian rankings right now. So tell us about the experience of getting to wrestle overseas, and just a little bit more about the idea of trying to wrestle at the Olympic level and what that kind of entails.
Wrestling in Sweden, there was some really good competition there. The girls were really strong, and they were just really good wrestlers. It was a different type of wrestling, which in the U.S. we still wrestle freestyle, but we train differently than them, and it's good because I learned a lot from going over there, and I think I definitely got better with going with those girls. And then training to hopefully be in the Olympics and all this stuff, it's been going pretty good. Also kind of like nerve-wracking, just like, whoa, I'm going to go to World Team Trials and go Olympic Trials.
Well, here's a question for you. Do you who do you have right now that you're looking up to on the Olympic level? Jakara Winchester, who are you looking to at that level?
Definitely Jakara Winchester for sure. She came to train at Reverence one time for a camp that I was there for. That was pretty good. She's really good at wrestling. And then Helen Morales.
Morales, yeah.
We went to go see her like movie when that came out a little while ago, and I definitely look up to her too. I mean, she's really good at wrestling, and I want to wrestle like her too and be at her level. And then obviously off of the Olympic rankings, Zayo, I really look up to her. I want to hopefully be able to like beat her one day. So you got to train really hard for that.
Well, that's the goal, but that's a good goal because you have to.
That's great.
You've got to find that person. Because growing up as boys, our thing is you at some point you want to beat your dad, right? So you've got Zayo as that model that's close to you, and of course that would be the person that you'd look to. Not that you don't like her, but I mean that's the wrestling mindset, right? You want to take out that person who has trained you and be better than them.
Yeah. And they want you to. That's the secret that nobody talks about, but they want you to. Like that's their whole goal, is to help you go become better than they were. At some point they tip over into that. I don't know when it happens, but there comes a point where you realize, like, okay, I've gone as far as I can go. I want to help someone else go further than I did. And that's a beautiful thing. You have a really great opportunity there, working with somebody like that who's as equally driven. So that you can keep trying to catch up, but she's going to keep getting better too. And it's just the ultimate like carrot in front of you. But you mentioned the World Team Trials coming up, 14U and 15U. You're going to compete in both divisions in the World Team Trials, as I understand it, in April. Where's that going to be? What else going on there?
It's going to be in Spokane, Washington. It was there last year too, but it's going to be over there. And we're starting our 12-week cycle, which is we just train yet again twice a day. We train really hard. We're all trying to lose weight so we could be the lowest possible for there. I'm pretty sure all of us in the group that is going has started dieting and stuff. We had practice earlier today. We were doing pretty good. Got a really good sweat in that. Yeah.
So what weight class are you looking to go? What's your goal?
My goal is to be 127. I'm quite a bit over right now, so I've been trying to start.
You're cycling, like you said. So that's going to come off with your diet and the exercise. So how do you feel? Are you feeling strong? You feeling good?
Yeah. So I've been I've been running every day and stuff and dieting, and I feel pretty strong. I don't feel like weak or tired or anything like that. So yeah, I feel pretty good.
Good.
Very good. Yeah, you got good people in your corner monitoring that, and like cutting weight is a science, man. Like when you keep it to science, like you can do it safely, and it sounds like you're checking all the boxes there. So that's good stuff. I got a little bit of video from one of your matches from nationals, so you can kind of give us some insight into how do you wrestle. You're pretty physical. You like to get on the collar, it looks like. Tell us about how you wrestle.
Okay, so when I wrestle, I try to always get them down. So I try and snap them down, or if it's freestyle, I try and get them to kind of step back to push them out, because that's one point when they step out of the circle.
Right.
I don't shoot too much, which I'm trying to get in the habit to start shooting. So if you look at like before, like when I first started to wrestle, I really didn't shoot ever. And then now I'm slowly starting to hit more shots. I do that. I try hitting a lot of ducks and throw-bys in my matches. Those are like my main moves. I do those a lot.
I just saw Coach Pat tell you to hit a duck.
I try hitting those a lot. And I also just kind of stay heavy, try and stay loose, but also strong at the same time. So I could be loose on my feet, but really strong with my
I
collar
got tired
ties.
of watching the slowdown. There we go. I was trying to get to the meat here.
But usually I try and wrestle really strong. So like I said, collar tying and stuff. And then I'll hit a few, like if I see a shot opening, or if like Coach Estrada or Coach Pat says like, oh, hit a double, it's right there. I'll be like, okay. And I'll just try and get out of my comfort zone and hit it, which has been going pretty good. I mean, I don't finish them all the time, but I'm starting to get in the habit of shooting, and I've been practicing them a lot in practice. So hopefully I get.
throws?
Yeah, I
You got
remember.
any-
Oh yeah, go
Sorry, I
ahead.
was going to ask if she had any throws in her arsenal yet. You do anything lat drop, a jab whizzer, a headlocks? What you got anything like that?
So not at this tournament, I didn't hit any, but in a few other tournaments, like back last year in June, I'm pretty sure it was in Tulsa when we were doing Greco and freestyle for the national dual team. I was doing a lot of good throws there. I've been practicing some throws in practice. I was wrestling Greco a few weeks ago with some of the boys to kind of just do that. I'm not the best at the big throws like body locks or anything, but I'm trying to get good at suplexes, and I think I'm pretty good at like arm spins, arm throws, headlocks, lateral drops.
Okay, nice.
Got the arsenal, developing it in due time. What's your favorite style?
Freestyle for sure.
Yeah, why?
I like freestyle because unlike Greco, I can't touch the legs at all. So like
Right.
about the upper body, I just can't touch legs, and I like to hit shots if I can. And I just like being able to, when you're in freestyle, how there's parterre, I like to hit a lot of moves on bottom, or sorry, when I'm on top and they're on bottom. So I like freestyle like that, and I just like to be able to roll, and you can't really do that in folk style because it's like you can't lock your hands, and I really like to lock my hands and not have to worry about them getting.
That's the jiu-jitsu MMA background, right? Because I remember when you first started out, we had to like break some habits. Like you like to fight from the ground, you like to go to your back, and so some of those habits are still hard to break, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I still sometimes. Coach tries to get me to do try to do neutral a lot. So because he likes us to hit shots and stuff. So when I do get on top and bottom, it's like, okay, I only have 10 seconds. So I try and roll around as much as I can. I always try and do a bow and arrow. That's like usually my number one move that I try and hit. And then I also hit leg laces a lot, which you can only do in freestyle. So.
Yep, leg laces are good. I mean, that's a good, quick way to score a lot of points.
Oh, my mouse stopped on me.
So if you can key that up, you can do well with scoring a lot of freestyle points, or well, not Greco obviously because you can't go to the legs, but if you can get a good leg lace and you can get good at that, you can finish a match really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean it's wild about freestyle. I didn't really grow up with much freestyle, so it's always wild to me when somebody just gets a good leg lace and it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ball game.
Boom, all done. Well, did we freeze there? Because I see Justin frozen.
Growing up. Yeah, I froze up for a second there.
There you go.
Back? All right.
Yeah, you're back.
Kids must be playing video games. Makayla, it's been awesome to watch you grow up so far. You've still got a ways to go. And I know you have big goals, not just the Olympics, but also to wrestle in college. Tell us a little bit more about, your goals and your vision for where you're trying to go.
So right now, my goal is to make a world team. So like I said, I'm going to that in April. I've been training for that a lot. After that, I want to keep on training for sure to try and make the Olympics. I still want to wrestle in college. I want to try and wrestle for as long as I can, be on a world team, the Olympics, wrestle with all the big stars.
Yeah, but then you'll be our Lowcountry big star.
When I have to stop wrestling, I hope
I think the storm's getting us, the gremlins. We broke up a little bit there on my end. Not sure if everybody got all of that, but you want to be South Carolina's world champ? Is that what you said?
Yep. I want people to be like, whoa, Makayla's our wrestler. So
Well, you're well on your way, kiddo, and it's been awesome. And again, I feel really grateful to have just been, got to have a little role in a small part of it, so that I can say, hey, I knew her when she was just little and just learning how to wrestle. So, and you're just, it's always a pleasure to see you. You're always happy, you're always smiling, and your mom says that people aren't afraid of you. But I think there are a few girls who are a little intimidated when they have to get on the mat with you, don't you?
Well, I hope they are. Just go like, whoa, it's Makayla. Yeah.
Big Mac, she's coming for me. Well, hey, great job, kid. I know you were nervous about this. This is not an easy thing for a young teenager to do. You're barely a teenager, so but you handled yourself exceptionally well, like I knew you would, and we're proud of you, and we look forward to following you and talking to you again down the road.
Thank you.
Hey, Makayla, get used to this, because as you win those world titles and stuff, they're going to interview a whole lot more. So just be cool, do your thing.
That's part of the deal here. That's kind of part of the vision, is like we got to prepare you guys, because when you get out there and do the big things we know you're capable of, they're going to stick microphones in your face and they're going to want to interview you, and we're going to help prepare you on that side of things too. You got coaches helping you prepare for what happens on the mat, but we'll help you get ready for the cameras too. So awesome debut on the Lowco Media Network, kiddo.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Get that homework done. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, math. Get some math done.
There you go. Yes. Makayla Hinchey, national champ. That was awesome. That was really cool, right? Was it as cool for you?
A lot of fun, man. She was getting into it. She loosened up for us, and it was nice. It was good to get her, if you will, out of her shell just a little bit.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff. Well, let's shout out some sponsors again. Reverence Wrestling Club, the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind, and our varsity sponsors start with Dr. Ambrose Cole at Rooted Living Wellness, my favorite chiropractor. He is as good as it gets. He'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. DDS Web Design, providing hosting, building, hosting, and maintaining websites for businesses and nonprofits that get results. So if you need to get found online, go to ddshhi.com and get started on building a new website. Parker Law Group, serving legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties. We need to get more wrestling in Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties. Colleton got some wrestlers, but we need more in Hampton and Jasper. We got to get that going. But Parker Law Group, they serve legal needs out there, and they help support us so that we can continue to provide great grassroots local sports coverage in the Lowcountry. And speaking of which, let's talk about the high school duels, because we got Coach Lawns from JP2 and Coach Powell from May River. What's up, fellas?
Evening, guys.
Good evening,
gentlemen.
How's it going?
You carried it's going, man. You guys carried the flag for us. Lawns and JP2 got the job done well on Friday night in a Donnybrook against Hammond, and then came up short against Cardinal Newman, which I know you wanted that shot at them, Lawns, and you gave them your best shot, but they were pretty loaded. But I noticed that you have a new haircut too, which I think may be related to the proceedings this weekend.
Yeah, sure. So I made a challenge to the boys about 2+ weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I said, you make it to the state finals, you guys get to buzz my head. And I don't have much hair to begin with, but I
was going to say, Pal probably make the same deal right now.
Sign me up.
Yeah. So it's fun. They're a great group of kids. That's Chris Orta started us off with the pin there, which was, we started at 175.
I love and then their next spotlight. Love the spotlight.
Yeah, spotlight's great. Austin Hood up there, he's in construction. He put all that stuff in there in Hammond, and they got it rolling pretty good there. But yeah, I made that challenge to them. I said, you guys make it to the state finals. You get to buzz my head. I brought my clippers up because I was pretty confident we could do it up. And, we lost to Hammond at the beginning of the year, I think by a score of like 48-30. And I'll tell you what, those guys stepped it up because he let us off with the pin. I got my heavyweight who's wrestled one match or won one match all year, and he got ticked off his last match, and he said, "Yeah," and he said, "Man, people get me mad. I wrestle better." I'm like, "Yeah, I've been trying to tell you that all year." And it's heavyweight.
Get mad before you go out there.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then at 113, we have a guy who's been wrestling 106 all year. I mean, he's about 104 pounds, and he got put on his back like 3 or 4 times, and I turned to Bill like, "Man, we got to figure out something because this isn't looking good." And sure enough, I turned my back for half a second, and Bailey Homer came around and got a reversal and pinned the guy with 7 seconds left when he was down by, I think, 7 points. So huge 10-point swing there.
Yeah, I couldn't even keep up with the score watching the video of that one. I had no idea what was going on.
Crazy.
It's coming up
yeah,
here in a minute. It was bananas.
Yeah. And it's just like that. I had Jude Wachowski. This looks like Bailey here.
Yeah, that's Bailey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jude was able to avoid a pin, right? And you won by
that
2,
was
right?
Jude ended up losing by major, but again, he was on his back and he fought off his back. I mean, it was just like they knew their role.
Well, you won the duel by 2 points, right?
Oh man, it was crazy. So
you won by 2, so him not getting pinned was the difference between winning and going.
Save those bonus points, man, wherever you can, right?
Yeah. So I got a guy, Jack Hannigan, and he started going to Reverence. I was talking to Ashley before. I'm like, man, we want to get our guys at your level, and we have a ton of respect for what you guys done, and you're I mean, the premier team in this area. And Ashley, you made a comment like, yeah, I got it seemed like you said about half my guys starters were going there, and Jack took it upon himself. I encouraged him, drove him there, and I'm like, hey, you got to get here. And I saw leaps and bounds of how much he improved. And at 144, he knocked off the guy's his runner-up last year and projected champ, and he did a nice tilt on him. Got behind the guy and did a standing tilt, and took the guy out. And so then it came down to 50 and 57, and there were 2 studs. Martin, who does what Martin does, and went out and got the pin. And then Raven, who's a 2-timer, he got his pin. So it came down to the last match with Brandon Horton, and he's electric. I have to tell Brandon before his match, every match, I have to say, Brandon, bring him down with control. Bring him down with control. So every time I watch Brandon, I'm like, please don't slam the guy, And sure enough, his pin ended up, getting the 2-point victory for us. I mean, we knew he had a pin to get the win for us, and has a home crowd, silence the home crowd. Our fans, all about 20, and the bench was just nuts, and it's just awesome because Bill's worked so hard to build the program up, and it was just pretty cool to see. And they had bigger guns, but our guys came with a lot of heart, and it was pretty cool. And so I ended up the boys shaved my head, but they gave me a mohawk, so I went to the finals with a mohawk. And, I wish you would have translated to more, Seminole warrior out there with the boys, but it was fun. So,
yeah, I took it on the chin in the finals a little bit, 67-10 against a really good Cardinal Newman team. But I mean, terrific season, and as you noted, Bill Demude is still a big part of the program, and he's the one who got it going, to start. And I also saw him shout out on Twitter, Matt DeColius, the AD, who, gave the go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna add wrestling when nobody else in the area in SCISA and very few teams statewide had it. So big shout out to both those guys for the pioneering work, and great job for you. I mean, as we all know, a big part of the sport is in this area in particular is just making it look fun and attractive, and being able to recruit kids, because we just need kids that we can get in and mold and coach them up real quick. So, I think you've done a great job of continuing that and making it a fun thing to be a part of at JP2. So props to you guys for a great season, man.
Thank you. It's been fun, and I'm excited what we got ahead. And we got a lot to go, but we we got guys buying in now, and I've got guys that are saying, man, I want to do off-season wrestling. I want to do more. I want to get over to Reverence. I got like 7 guys now that are saying, hey, Coach, when can I go? I'm like, you can go anytime you want. I'll take you there. And they want to do off-season wrestling, which, in years past they didn't want to do. And we know off-season wrestling is what produces champions. It isn't in-season. Yeah. In-season gets you halfway there, but it's all the off-season stuff. And I just love that, we said it before, but, I want it where – and George, I've heard you say it. Ashley, I've heard you say it. And Justin, I heard you say it. I want it where everybody knows that the Lowcountry is the dominant region for wrestling. I'm tired of hearing about the upstate and everybody else. And it's time for and iron sharpens iron. And I think that's what we got here. So, yeah.
Well, we definitely got
be that driving force. We've got to make it happen, guys. I mean, that's the bottom line. And the more we push and we get more kids into Reverence, and I know in Beaufort they're trying to work on getting a club set up over there, and if we can make that happen, then we're going to have, like we did that first round on Saturday for the South Carolina High School League schools. Most of our teams got a first, a victory in that first round, and then of course Ashley, you guys pulled it on through and won your corner of the bracket. And then, of course, you guys went up there and took care of business Friday. And then, you ran into a buzzsaw on Saturday, but you got there. That's a step. That's improvement. Yeah. And, that's what we got to have.
Yeah. Well, you guys have made that step a couple times, pal, and got a chance to do it again this year. But you got and you ran through it on Saturday. What was it? 79-3 in the second round. So great day for the Sharks, but tough one ahead tomorrow night, Monday night. I know you've already turned the page and you're ready to go against Lugoff in the deep end at 6:30. Tell us about Saturday and get us ready for Monday night.
Saturday, we had the first round bye, so we got an opportunity to kind of sit back and watch North Myrtle Beach and Irmo battle it out, and we would eventually get the winner. North Myrtle Beach has got a couple of really, really good kids. So kind of on paper, we thought North Myrtle Beach was going to win. North Myrtle Beach had a kid miss weight. I think ended up costing them. Came down to a 36-36 tie on criteria. Irmo advanced, and I think that was a little better matchup for us. So we wrestled really well on Saturday. But we're going to have to wrestle on another level come tomorrow. Lugoff Elgin is a perennial power in our state. They're well coached. They got an incredible feeder system. And I think just this year, their middle school finished first and third at the middle school state tournament. So they've got, when I was in high school, our team lost to them 4 straight years in the lower state finals. I mean, I would argue with anybody that one of the better teams to come through South Carolina was Lugoff Elgin in 2001. Man, they were absolutely loaded. And, they had one of the best wrestlers come out of our state, Ben Connell. So they got a rich history. They beat us in the lower state finals last year. They beat us pretty bad. They graduated a lot, and so did we. And I think both of us are a little ahead of the curve for where we thought we'd be at the beginning of the year. So hopefully we can keep it close and and battle hard and fight a little bit in there and kind of see how it all turns out.
You already figured out if you want odds or evens?
We don't know that until after we draw, but so we'll hopefully we'll draw a good number tomorrow, and we'll I think that could play a factor. I know that they move around the kids a lot, so the flip ultimately will play a factor, which a lot of people don't quite understand that when wrestling. They're like, you weigh the same amount. Well, the flip is incredibly important. We've been fortunate at times to win the flip and win matches as a result of it, and Lugoff Elgin's the same exact way, so that flip will be pretty important.
Yeah, for people who don't understand that, a lot of times a guy is weighed in. You can bump up a weight, so you may have multiple people weighed in at the same weight, knowing that one of them's gonna bump. But who you bump is highly dependent on who the other team sends, because they're playing the same game, and it becomes a real chess match. And you can definitely overthink it and get yourself in a bind too. But you guys have a ton of depth, and you have a ton of flexibility in your lineup for duels right now, because you have several guys who went down for individuals but are capable of wrestling up a weight. So it gives you a lot of flexibility there. I love that about your lineup. But what are some key possible matchups we might see tomorrow night? I know they've got 7 guys in the rankings. You've got 5 in the rankings, but you're ranked ahead of them in the team rankings, whatever all that means, which is, it is what it is. But any key weights that we got to look at?
I think down low is incredibly important. Like I said, they got a couple of good kids. Right on the top of my head, I'd say 113 is a pretty important weight class for both teams. They got a really good kid who's at 38. He weighed in this weekend at 32. He's probably one of the better 38s in the state. So that's a kind of the area. We got a couple at 75. There's a couple of matchups where it's a good kid on a good kid. But you know how it is, man. Ultimately, sometimes it comes down to it's going to be an unranked kid versus an unranked kid, and who can stay off their back or come through with a win. So I don't even know if there's 1 or 2 weight classes that I would say we have to win or they have to win.
Right.
I think it's, I really don't know. We haven't been in any
there's a lot of moving parts
this year, and they haven't been in any tournaments with us this year. So we have not seen them head to head, and they haven't seen us either. Wow,
that's interesting. It's hard to not cross paths at some point. That's kind of wild that didn't happen.
Right.
Yeah, 113. They have a guy ranked number 6, Titan McGee. You've got options there. I know folks down there now, so that could be interesting. 175. You got Echeverria ranked 2nd, and they've got Logan Hinton ranked 5th. So that could be a good head-to-head matchup. And then Rylan Gregg's probably the guy you were talking about. He's ranked 2nd at 132.
He's going to be 138
of course, ranked 7th.
He's very good.
Yeah, so that could be a good preview too if we get it. So lots of potential matchups, but we won't know, as you said, until the card is drawn and the coin is flipped, how it all goes down. So 6:30 in the deep end, should be good times. Pal, what else? You guys
we found out who your referee will be for tomorrow night. It'll be me with Guy Vanderwijk on the assist. So I got that call from Paul this afternoon. So.
Nice. All right. So tomorrow I'll find out who Guy Vanderwijk is and connect him to whatever nickname I've given him, because that's usually what I do is give officials nicknames so I can know who they are in my head.
Guy was
one named Kyle.
He was our lead official for Saturday.
That's what George said. All right. Is he a good one?
He's a snowbird. He comes down from Wisconsin, usually gets here right after the first week of January. I think this year he came in on the 8th. So he usually stays through wrestling season. And then he goes back to Wisconsin, after that. But he's retired firefighter, and he and the wife come down, and Ashley got to see him on Saturday. So, and I think was Paul Hernandez assisting him.
Paul was his assist, so it was always good to see Paul. Me and Paul have gone back a long time when I wrestled at Lake City. So he's an absolute great man, and it's always good to see him still active. So it was good to see Paul.
And then if you guys get past Lugoff tomorrow, we could have a James Island rematch on Wednesday. And I know that was a pretty good matchup the first time around. And you said they were kind of banged up the first time. So that could be interesting too. But we'll worry about that if we get past Monday. But certainly that would be kind of cool to have the region square off for the lower state again, as we did a couple years ago.
And I think go back to what George said earlier. Our region, we had 4 teams make the playoffs in our region, in the lower state. And, Bluffton won a playoff match and lost in the second round.
Yep.
Hilton Head won a playoff match, lost in the second round. And James Island still in. So our region, we think is pretty tough. And I said that all year. So it's good to still have 2 of our region teams alive.
Lucy Beckham might have won her first round match too if they'd have been in there.
Yeah, Lucy Beckham, like I said, beginning of the year, I thought they were going to be the first or second best team in our division or in our region, and but they're a solid program as well.
Yep, very good. Well, hey, pal, we appreciate you, man, and we'll let you get out of here. Lawrence, you need to get going too. Late
I
night,
can be
fellas.
up in another 5 or 10 minutes, but I gotta get some planning for the week ahead.
All right.
So.
Well, we'll let you
Ashley,
fellas get going, and
I'll see you tomorrow night, Ashley, around
Yes, sir. We'll see
5:15
y'all
or
tomorrow.
so.
Y'all have a good night, man. Thanks for all y'all do for high school sports.
All right.
yes, sir.
Have a good night.
Greg Lawrence and Ashley Powell, 2 outstanding wrestling coaches. Appreciate you guys. We will get them out of here. There we go. All right, Georgie. Let's shout out some more sponsors, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this weekend's proceedings and hand out some hammers, and then we'll look ahead to what's coming up. But the Lowco Booster Club, we have the Court Lifestyle Pros, Lowcountry natives Daniel and Debbie Court, selling the Lowco lifestyle on Hilton Head Island. So let them bring you home. Those snowbirds, like you mentioned, they need to come down here permanently. Help them out. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Call on Chris Odom, terrific guy, great at floor care. Prime IV Hydration and Wellness. Go see Max and the team and get juiced up over in Belfair Town Village. Revive Rehab. Well, where'd George go? Revive Rehab Women's Health and Pelvic Floor Physical Therapy. Our new sponsor, Dr. Jen and Dr. Allie, can help you regain your function if you're having trouble with your pelvic floor. Yeah. Eagle Creations, a great place for custom gift baskets, custom apparel, and promotional items in Ridgeland on Argent Boulevard. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And George is back, and Wes made a cameo, and all kinds of wild things happened during that sponsor
weather,
break.
man.
But
it's the weather. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe it is. The weather is pretty wild out there. I've heard it even through my headphones, getting after it out there. So everybody stay safe. But going through some of those scores, as we mentioned, Irmo knocked off North Myrtle Beach 37-36 on criteria. And then May River trounced Irmo 78-3. Hilton Head beat Hartsville 43-36, but then lost 79-0 to Lugoff. So 2 powerhouses going at it tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Bluffton beat Westwood, but lost to Myrtle Beach, which will take on
6:30 tomorrow night. 6:30 tomorrow night.
6:30.
It's not 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6:30.
Yeah, 6:30 start.
Did I say 6? I meant 6:30. 6:30 in the deep end. As we mentioned, 7 guys in the rankings for Lugoff, 5 for May River, but it's a dead even matchup. It's going to be really good. If you haven't seen a wrestling match all year, this is the one to go to, because if they don't win, there won't be another one at home. You'll have to go on the road. So in the 3A duels, Loris beat Buford. Yeah. Loris beat Buford 52-24. Battery Creek knocked off Georgetown 53-18, but then lost 43-33 to Dreer. And in the 2A, 1A, Bridges beat Bamberg in a good match, and then lost to Edisto, which went on to lose to Buford, not Beaufort. And Bishop England knocked off Whale Branch. So JP2 with the 39-32 win, or 39-37, whatever it was, against Hammond, and 67-10 loss to Cardinal Newman. So that's all the results for this week. You want to hand out a hammer? Who's your hammer of the week?
I'm going to hand out a hammer, but I'm going to give a team hammer. I'm giving that team hammer to the Golden Warriors at JP2. Lons and Demude and those guys over there, it's a first time for them getting into the finals. So I'm giving that whole team, again, the effort, guys not giving up bonus points, other guys getting the bonus points where needed. Definitely a team effort for the Golden Warriors. And congrats to that whole crew.
Yeah, good call. Individually, I'd say Brandon Horton definitely gets a hammer for getting that clinching pin. That's big time. I mean, you find out something about yourself when it comes down to your last match, and you got to get the pin to get the win for your team. He found out something good about himself, so he definitely gets a hammer. Shout out to Jack Hannigan as well. Like Coach Lon said, he decided mid-season he was going to dig in and get as good as he could, as fast as he could, and that helped his team get over the top and get to the state finals. So shout out to those guys, and I'll do a team hammer too for May River, because everybody hammered against Irmo. 78-3 is good stuff. So I
Well,
can't wait
part
for
of that,
tomorrow night, man. I'm glad you're going to be calling it. That's going to be fun.
well, it should be fun, man. I love a good hot match with two really good teams, good wrestling. Hopefully, I don't have to worry about a lot of locked hands or full Nelsons or
Right.
some kind of nonsense. Just throw up the points. The kids, they get a takedown, they get a reversal, they get near fall. That they bust the hands loose and get out and get their escape. That I just want to throw those points up for actual scoring maneuvers, not oops, I screwed up and locked hands, or I
Yeah.
threw a full in because
Or
I didn't get my other
stalling.
hand out in time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it should
Yeah.
be a
No, I'm
blast.
with
It should
you.
be a lot of fun. So
It's going to be good wrestling, like high level wrestling at just about every weight. So, and that's not always the case. I mean, sometimes you go out to a duel and you're hoping you get 3 or 4, really competitive matches. But we should get a bunch of them, bunch of Donnybrooks tomorrow night. So
it should
that'll be
be
really
some good
fun.
ones tomorrow night. Something you mentioned a minute ago about being the guy to finish the match, finish the duel. That pressure's on you. That's part of why we do a draw weight now, because it always used to be the
I like it.
heavyweight. Came down
Yep.
to the heavyweight. Oh, man, you cost us that match. You won the match for us, but you cost us this one. Well, now we do the draw weight, and it could be anybody in that last spot. That really has to pull the hammer out, as you said. And take care of business.
Yeah.
So
I like it way better. I like it way better. I was always a low weight guy too, and like I always hated it from my buddy who was our 103 at the time. That he always had to lead off. Like I felt like that would
yeah,
be horrible to always have to lead off. And that was Truman this year. Every time we started at 80, he had to lead off at 88
absolutely.
because we didn't have
Yeah,
80. And that's a tough thing too. Either first or last every time can be tough. But I love the draw weight. I think it just adds a whole other element to it as well, because you can't really pre-game as much for like, oh, if we get odds or if we get evens, because
right.
you don't know how it's gonna shake
Yeah, how
out,
it's going to
where
fall
it's gonna
out, and
start.
that's part of what Powell was talking about. Before, it does depend on that draw.
Absolutely.
Where am I going to get the draw that I get momentum? That I get two
Yeah.
or three in a row, and I get a
Yeah.
little lead for my team because of that draw weight, as opposed
Yeah.
to oops, this was a draw weight, and that's a weak run for us. They get the lead,
Right.
they have the momentum. It can completely change the dynamic of what the match is and how it goes because of that. So,
And your
but again,
strategy, because if you start having to chase points, then you might kind of get away from what your game plan was to start with, and
yep,
actually backfire on you. So yeah, no, there's all kinds of inside stuff that's going on, and that's every sport, right? Like the game inside the game is always the part that the real fans geek out on. So of course we're going to geek out on that. You want to educate us on any rules tonight? Anything that's been on your
let's
mind?
see. Well, the big change this year, or two kind of big changes. The 30 minutes, you get a break in between. So if you wrestle a match, you only get 30 minutes before you can wrestle that next match. Whereas in the past, it always been 45 minutes. That 45-minute rule was kind of arbitrary. They never actually did any type of study to determine that 45 minutes is what you need. And we all know as coaches that you in
30 is
practice,
plenty.
you're going nonstop, right? You wrestle
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 matches in a row. If you're in a 4-man group where you guys are trading out, you're going to
Yeah.
wrestle a whole bunch. But that's one that changed this year, and so that changed it a little bit on how much break you get. The other one this year is a knee and a foot on the same leg counting as 2 supporting points, where in the past that was always 1 supporting point. So this year coming in, the National Federation decided that, hey, we're gonna do this and put that pressure on the official to try to make that call, because if the knee comes up, well, now they're out. But it's down with the foot down, we're still in. In South Carolina, that doesn't apply to near fall situations or fall situations if the defensive wrestler is completely out of bounds. So we need to position ourselves as officials in a spot out front somewhere where we can see the near fall, the fall situation, as well as that knee or whatever, being inbounds. Well, for us, in a defensive wrestler completely out of bounds situation, you got to have 2 feet as supporting points and at least a knee over the inside boundary. So if we get that, then we can still count near fall. 2-man mechanics tomorrow night. I'll be down looking for the fall. The assistant guy, Vanderweist, he's going to be up, straddling the line from the feet on that end, looking to make sure 2 toes and at least a knee stays in bounds. And he will give me a verbal, we're out, we're out, we're out, once they've cleared. That way I'm not trying to take a peek at both at the same time, which puts me further out and away from what I'm trying to look at, so which is the fall, because we want to have that opportunity to get the fall in. So it's great to have that second set of eyes in those situations.
All right. Very good. Well, hopefully you don't have to call too many stalling calls tomorrow night, but
I was actually joking with Powell earlier today about that. I was joking with Powell about that earlier today. And it's like, I'll if the draw, and we were talking about where the draw may start or whatever. And I said, well, if it starts up high, we draw at 90 or 215 or something. At least I'll get a chance to get some stallings out of the way with the big boys before we roll through to the lightweights. And but yeah,
the big boys do enjoy the stalling. The big boys enjoy the stalling.
They do. And it's a bonus, I guess, to a degree that May River, they're down this way. They know how I call my stallings. So that could be an advantage to a degree where Lugoff doesn't see me much until, typically the state tournament level stuff. They don't see me. So, but we've got some good guys.
Pal wouldn't want us talking about this. Pal doesn't want us giving up his edge.
No. So I'm sure Lugoff's out there checking out the Lowco sports broadcast tonight. So
the Lowco grind. Well, I mean, as far as I know, it's the only wrestling podcast in South Carolina, so they might be.
They could be, and that's great if they are. So yeah. But yeah, the draw will matter. It does absolutely have an effect on what your strategy may be, and then of course the odd even will play into that as well. Part of that though, what I do and what I'll have Guy doing tomorrow night as the assistant, we're going to hold, if it's Green's choice to send at say 113, Green's going to send, and he's Guy's going to hold the red. He's going to hold Lugoff. They're not going to get to come. We're going to make sure the appropriate wrestler checks in and then comes out before we let the opposing team that doesn't have choice before they get to check in. We're not going to, we know the game. I know the game as well. We're not going to let them play that except to a certain amount of that play, because it's your turn, Green. You have to send your wrestler. So send him out. You've got 5 minutes if you want to think about it, but
when they just kind of try to kind of put it off and let the other team send. Oh, neither one of them's falling for that nonsense.
Yeah, right, and they won't tomorrow night. Both coaches
going to know when it's their turn.
Exactly, and they're well versed. They're good coaches. Both staffs, they know what it's about. They understand it, but they have to understand that I also understand it, and I understand where you're coming from, and that'll play into, as you mentioned, stalling earlier. That'll play into my stall calls, because I understand where we're at in the match. Your kid is trying to not give up a major, and he's stalling very hard right now. And I see that he's stalling very hard right now.
Big picture.
And so I understand the big picture. I see what he's trying to do, and I thank you for your thought pattern,
but I also will pop you.
but I gotta pop you, and I'll tell the kids, in the pre-meet that, and you've heard my pre-meet before, so you understand what I things I say while I'm in there, and that's one of the things I'll let them know, guys. I do understand what you're going to be trying to do. I understand your strategies. Don't shut down too early, because if you shut down too early, and even if you got a lead, you've got that major in hand. but now you shut down. And I actually had that yesterday with the tournament I did over in Georgia at Screven County, and the kid was winning, and he shut down. And okay, stalling one, and he lost his major. So he still won the match. He had plenty of points to play with, but he lost his major. So that impacted the team score. Yeah, that impacted the team score on the other end because they're getting a region championship for a team if they come out first place. And well, his team wound up second place, not necessarily because of that point, because it was more than a few points difference. But you got to understand, if you have a solid official, they're going to know what your game is. And so keep wrestling. The bottom line, just keep wrestling, trying to score points.
Amen, brother. Plus, when you start wrestling not to lose is when you fool around and lose. So
you can. And I had one of those yesterday as well. The kid was winning the match, and he was up a major and wound up, he slowed down, got out of position, got caught, got stuck. And it was in the finals, and he and that one could have cost the home team because Screven County again finished second. This was a kid from Screven, and he was easily winning the match, and he just got a little lazy, a little out of position, got caught, and got stuck. So
can't be doing that. Well, hopefully the Sand Sharks get the win, or the Sharks. Sorry, I've been on USCB mode. Hopefully the Sharks get the win on Monday, so we get more wrestling in the Lowco on Wednesday at home for the lower state championship, and then JP2 and Carlton Prep and Patrick Henry and Thomas Hayward and them go to the SCISA individual championships on Saturday, and then we're done unless May River makes the finals. We're done until the lower state qualifiers the following weekend. So,
So, and nothing down our way. We don't have anything down this way. So, for a lower state tournament.
They're all far flung. 4A's in Hartsville. We've gotten spoiled by having 4A here every year.
Yeah, because May River and Bluffton was. So.
And Hilton Head's hosted it too. So we've gotten spoiled. 3A's at Brooklyn Casey, and 2A, 1A's at North Central. So, and then the state championships are in Anderson. So,
last year in Anderson, they're looking to move out. So,
good. Our producer,
this is the last year of their contract.
The Sand Sharks need a wrestling program, which I agree with completely.
Yeah, we need to try to get a little pressure on them. Yeah, to maybe get something started out there.
That'd be good stuff. At least start with the club team. Let it go from there. But anyway,
absolutely.
Well, I think that'll do it for tonight, Georgie. Good times talking wrestling with you as always. Great time talking with Makayla Hinchey, who is already incredible, but destined for even greater things. Like she's awesome. She's truly awesome. And she's got
good kid. Yeah, good kid going in good direction. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Thanks to Greg Lawns and Ashley Powell, who carried the banner for the Lowco this season, and as far as wrestling and the private and public school fronts. And Sharks not done yet. Neither are the individuals. We'll have some state champs for sure before this thing's all said and done. So that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks so much to our sponsors, especially to Reverence Wrestling Club, presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind, making it all possible. For George Dixon and our producer, Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Until next time, keep grinding and go Lowco.
Bye, Phil.